Hi, and welcome to Temple Street, the show brought to you by the Department of Communication and Journalism. I'm Julianne Capello.
And I'm Lindsay Goldstein. On today's show, we will learn about events celebrating one of America's greatest presidents. We will talk to scholar, poet, and filmmaker Sammy Treat, and we will find out why Massachusetts is joining the ban on Four Loko.
We will also learn about the experience of a 17-year-old international student here at Suffolk, ask people about the stories behind their tattoos, and see how a Suffolk Spanish class takes learning to the stage. We will end, as always, with Critic's Corner.
But first, the news. Boston's Lower Washington Street, home to the newly renovated Opera House and Paramount Theater, has gained a new neighbor, the Modern Theater. Suffolk University has bought and revamped the building, contributing to Boston's effort to revitalizing the once infamous Combat Zone. Renee Hartel and Brittany Weiner have the story.
The Modern Theater building, first constructed in 1876, was originally known as the Dobson Building, a popular carpet company. It later became one of the first theaters to show projected double features and talkies, a giant step forward from silent cinema. In the 1970s, the area of Lower Washington Street became the Combat Zone, featuring strip clubs and adult movie theaters. In order to survive in this new atmosphere, the Modern Theater began to project adult films as well. By the late 80s, the building had become abandoned and was in dire need of renovation. 3 years ago, Suffolk University joined in the effort to revitalize the downtown area and took on the $41 million project. The Modern Theater was brought back to life with a new and sophisticated content, such as conversation, performance, and cinema. Catherine Kingsley, front-of-house coordinator of the Modern Theater, is ecstatic about the reopening and says the theater will provide the community with great art performances.
It can be used as a movie theater, which harkens back to its original history. It can be used in a more standard proscenium thrust stage setup. It can be used for classes, dance performances, pretty much anything that people want to bring to the space, we can accommodate.
The theater was recently opened to the public on November 4th with an elaborate ribbon-cutting event to celebrate. The event was held in the theater where guests had the privilege of entering through the original facade. The front lobby had been equipped with an elaborate lighting design, DJ, and red carpet entrance. Decorative candles and flowers were placed around the premise, giving the theater an elegant appearance. The theater's orchestra seating was converted into a single level with 2 bars, allowing guests room to mingle and making the space feel more like a nightclub than a theater.
I think it's going to be great for everything from small jazz combos to lectures to small theater productions or even events like this where it really feels kind of like a club.
Guest speaker Mayor Menino attended the event with many other Suffolk friends and faculty.
I just say to Suffolk, thank you for your continued investment in our city, but also making sure that your investments make a difference.
In the future, the Modern Theater will host events including the upcoming Rammys, a reading by esteemed playwright Robert Brustein, and stage productions by outside theatrical groups. This is Brittany Weiner reporting for Temple Street.
The Modern Theater also houses roughly 200 Suffolk students in the new dormitories above the theater.
This year marks the 50th anniversary of the election of Massachusetts native John F. Kennedy as President of the United States. Eric Hurt and I visited the JFK Library and Museum to find out how this momentous anniversary is being celebrated.
On Tuesday, November 8, 1960, John Fitzgerald Kennedy was elected as the 35th President of the United States of America. Kennedy's election marked a series of firsts in the history of the U.S. presidency. At the age of 43, Kennedy became the youngest candidate to be elected president and the first president to be born in the 20th century. He was also the first Catholic to serve in the White House. Director of Communications at the JFK Library, Rachel Day, gave us more insight into Kennedy's campaign and steps he took before Election Day.
And it was an interesting campaign. President Kennedy actually, then Senator Kennedy, wasn't considered a front-runner. He wasn't one of the more well-known candidates in the Democratic Party, so he really had to start from scratch. He entered more primaries than anyone else did in the 1960 election in the Democratic Party.
Kennedy's politically established opponents used his age and lack of experience against him. Some claimed that as a Catholic he would become a puppet of the Pope. Others thought he wasn't ready to deal with Cold War tensions at the time, fearing he will not be able to stand up to communist leaders. JFK's use of the new medium of television set the standard for the way political campaigns still run today.
I want to make it very clear, Harry, that on this question of equality of opportunity for all Americans, whether it's in the field of civil rights, better minimum wages, better housing, better working conditions, jobs, I stand for these things. The Democratic Party under Franklin Roosevelt stood for them.
People call him the first television president. He liked the media. He used the media in a way that we maybe are more familiar with today, but he had a great relationship with the press, and they welcomed the opportunity to be on national television with then Vice President Richard Nixon.
One of the things which I think has increased the cost of living has been this administration's reliance upon a high interest rate policy. My own judgment is that we're going to have to try to do a better job in this field.
Kennedy used television ads to speak directly to the people, often showing himself shaking hands or sitting down with American families to discuss issues affecting them. In the end, Kennedy was able to slowly gain enough support to defeat Nixon by a narrow margin and was sworn in as President of the United States of America on January 20th, 1961. In anticipation of JFK's inaugural anniversary, the Kennedy Library Museum is honoring the former president with several exhibits and events.
We have had some special programming relating to the anniversary. We've had panels talking about the great debates, the Kennedy-Nixon debates, talking about the religion issue in the campaign. We'll be having Tom Brokaw here in January to talk about, on the anniversary of the inauguration, to talk about his presidency.
For more information, visit jfklibrary.org. Reporting for Temple Street, this is Julianne Capello.
Looks like that was a fascinating exhibit.
It really was, Lindsay, and it's here in Boston, so you should definitely check it out.
A deadly combination of alcohol and caffeine has state officials and colleges across the country pushing to declare the drink illegal. Angela and Christopher Orris and Lexi Zenner have the story.
After Four Loko, the controversial caffeinated alcoholic drink has been linked to at least 2 deadly car crashes, killing a 21-year-old from Maryland and a 14-year-old from Texas. 5 states, including Washington, Michigan, Oklahoma, Utah, and now Massachusetts, have taken immediate action. The drink contains 12% alcohol, the equivalent of 5 beers and 4 cups of coffee, all in one, according to the company's website. Four Loko is packaged in a 23.5-ounce can, which is the amount equivalent to a bottle of wine, and sells for only $2.50, making it the perfect alcoholic drink for college students looking for a cheap way to get drunk, and fast.
I have tried Four Loko before. It tastes honestly like a bad energy drink. You could tell there's alcohol in there because you start feeling the effects right away. First time I had it, I only had a half of one, and I still felt I felt the effects of it. And the second time I had a whole one, and I was obviously off the walls, but I felt I had the effects.
Yeah, I would buy Four Loko again, just because I've tried it before and I enjoyed the experience. But like I said before, you have to be able to handle the responsibility of it because it is a crazy drink.
Four Loko is a fairly new drink to hit the market within the past year and has quickly gained popularity, especially among college students. The drink, in fact, is so popular that the term Four Loko has even been added to Urban Dictionary and described as sending the person who consumed it into 4 stages of crazy: tipsy, drunk, wasted, and blackout. Several students from Central Washington University were hospitalized after the consumption of Four Loko, with blood alcohol levels ranging from 0.12% to 0.35%, where a blood alcohol level of 0.30% is considered potentially lethal.
And the way the kids are drinking it, they're just guzzling it down and trying to get high off of it. The next thing you know, it's a diuretic, so the next thing you know, you're dehydrated, you're in the emergency room, they're giving you IV fluids just to hydrate you again.
Boston City Council fought to ban the sale of Four Loko in Massachusetts because the mixture of caffeine and alcohol in the drink is a dangerous combination. Health advocates say that the caffeine suspends the effects of the alcohol, and the mixture of a stimulant and a depressant makes consumers unaware of overconsumption. But should Four Loko really be banned? Some people disagree. There is even a Facebook page with more than 9,000 fans to save Four Loko. Many feel that the Four Loko isn't the problem, but rather the lack of responsible drinking among young adults and their inability to control the amounts of alcohol they consume. Officials from Four Loko, Fusion Projects, say the company will remove the caffeine from the drink after the FDA stated it was an unsafe food additive in conjunction with alcohol. Once caffeine is no longer an ingredient in the drink, it can be sold legally in Massachusetts again.
But health officials warn if exercised irresponsibly, with or without caffeine, consuming alcohol in large quantities can be deadly at any age. For Temple Street, I'm Angela Christoforos.
Looks like students should start thinking of more creative ways to have fun.
Yeah, unless you're like every other student in Boston already stocking up. From drinks to ink. In this week's edition of Speak Out, Brittany Weiner and Renee Hartel took to the streets of Boston to see what people had to say about their tattoos.
I have a tattoo of a heart on my hip, and one of my friends just decided to go get her belly button pierced. And I was just randomly like, hey, I want a tattoo, and I just randomly picked it.
No tattoos, don't like them.
The word revolution.
Why do you have that tattoo?
Not a big fan of the government, so I think we should overthrow it and start over.
I just have a tattoo on my inner forearm.
What does it say?
It's my last name. It says Hako.
And why did you choose to get that?
All the guys in my family have it. Me and my brothers all have it in the same area, and both my cousins have it on their arms, so it's kind of a family tradition thing.
I don't have any tattoos. No. I plan on getting one, but I don't have any right now.
What do you plan on getting?
I want to get a cancer ribbon like on the back of like my arm right here, and another one right here.
On my right ankle, I have a chicken balancing on a purple and yellow ball. And I got it because there's this band Evelyn, and it was a piece of the album artwork, and I love that band.
I don't, but I plan on getting a great white shark. And I go by Sean Huff, so I'm gonna get Huff tattooed, and then the great white shark is gonna be eating the letters. I like sharks, so that's why.
I don't have a tattoo. I always wanted one, but like every time I went, they were kind of expensive, and I was going with friends who had like a ton, and they always made me feel bad because I wanted the small one.
I got my initials, Sean Joseph Yell, my name. I got the prayer hands with the cross, and I got my son's birthstone in it, which is turquoise. I got that. This was actually my first one. This was my second one, same one he has, because we're really good friends. That one, and I'm working on this one right now, which is tribal. So, I don't know, I like it, it's different. It's very addictive.
I have a tattoo on my leg. It just says GPC. It's like an inside joke that I had with my brothers when we were little. It's so we all have it, all four of us. So
I don't like tattoos. I don't like the look of. That's all. Plain and simple. And as you get old, they make your skin look all yucky.
Lindsay, do you have any hidden tattoos I don't know about?
Maybe, but that's for next time. Next up, Temple Street reporter Amy Gibson interviews Sammy Shalom Chetrit, the author of Intra-Jewish Conflict in Israel, White Jews, Black Jews, and director of the film The Black Panthers in Israel Speak. Amy?
Thank you for coming here today.
Thank you for having me.
So in your book you talk about the internal conflict in Israel between Ashkenazi and Mizrahi Jews. Can you define both those terms for us?
Ashkenazi Jews are European Jews coming mostly from Eastern Europe. Mizrahi Jews, Mizrah in Hebrew is East, are coming from the Middle East, North Africa, Muslim countries, Arab countries.
How do you personally identify yourself? I know you were born in Morocco and lived in Israel for most of your life.
I think when I think about that, I'm Moroccan Jew, a Jew from Morocco, from an Arab country, although it's complicated there. It's Berber and Arab. But in that order, and of course there's my Israeli identity. I grew up there, I spent most of my life there. Hebrew is my language.
Can you tell us how you have created awareness about the struggle within Israel?
Well, it's not only me. I mean, there's a whole generation of, we call ourselves radical Mizrahim, Middle Eastern Jews. And, well, myself, working through education, political poetry, culture groups, founding a little publishing house to publish books on Mizrahi, by Mizrahi mostly. I've been writing in the newspapers, I had a column in different newspapers for many years, and you know, still trying to affect the center from the margins. That's always in your mind because you're not really playing in the mainstream. That's the big political parties, the big cultural groups, the establishment, and you're not there. You know you're not there, but you do your best. I remember writing my column. I always wrote the piece I wrote at the time, always in my mind with the thought that this is the last time I'm writing. So it was always on the edge. We're always, okay, this will be the last time. They won't let me write anymore.
In your book, Intra-Jewish Conflict in Israel, White Jews and Black Jews, you compare the Black Panthers in America to the Black Panthers in Israel. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I compare the entire struggle, the Mizrahi struggle in Israel, to the black struggle here in the 60s, what they call here the civil rights movement, which was not only black, but of course dominantly black. And well, I find many similarities. The first one is two oppressed groups, both culturally and economically and socially, and I could always see the similarities. Second, there were two groups that were brought into the land with no control over their lives. Well, of course, black people were brought as slaves with chains, and there's nothing to compare to Mizrahi Jews who were brought. You know, they were seduced to come, like the Messiah arrived, and they were brought to the country and lost control of their communities. Life, everything was, you know, starting from zero. I think in Israel, demonstrations were far more violent and aggressive than here. And the results are the same. They were both destroyed by pouring drugs into the communities, appropriating some of the leaders, and opening up a little bit the academia for some intellectuals, and creating the illusion that we can see color now on the screen, everywhere in the classroom, and that's it. You know, it's like, what do you complain about? And pouring some money always helps into the communities, and they were just shut down, just like here.
Thank you. That was a very enlightening discussion, Professor Shetrit.
Thank you.
Back to you at the studio.
That interview was very interesting. It opened my eyes to a new aspect of the conflicts that I was unaware of. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after a short break with a young, intriguing Suffolk sophomore, our students' Latin American play, and Critics Corner with Andrew Lecce Rogers. Next up, reporters Jennifer Dwyer and Alex Melian met with Ina Beltran, an international student who ended up in Boston, halfway around the world from her native Philippines.
Sophomore at Suffolk University, 17-year-old Ina Beltran is acing her classes in economics while adjusting to life in a new culture. The decision to study in America, she says, never even crossed her mind until her senior year of high school in the Philippines. Ina first learned about the opportunity to study at Suffolk University from her mother, who wanted her daughter to have new challenges in America, since the schooling experience in the Philippines is very different.
It's very different from around here, because first of all, we don't have middle school. We have grade school, grades 1 to 6, and then high school for 4 years. And that's why I'm younger than most students in here. It's a different experience, and going here, it's much more diverse, and I feel like there are so much more experiences that are in store for me in here.
Ina spends most of the year living away from her family, which can be difficult, but thanks to advanced technology, the family still finds ways to keep in touch.
With technology, Skyping and phone calls, it's not hard to stay connected with your family in all the way across the globe. So, nandito kami sa labas ngayon, Sabado, tapos
Ina is thoroughly involved around campus. She's the vice president of the Economics Club, an orientation leader, alternative spring break leader, and also a member of the Journey program, just to name a few of her extracurricular activities. Ina has made a lot of great friends at Suffolk, and as a high school-age student in a college environment, she appreciates their protective attitude when it comes to boys.
And we were walking down the street, and someone was like, I think someone hit on me, and then I didn't even realize because I'm completely oblivious. And then Lena was with me, and she was like, she shouted out loud, "She's 17!" And I'm like, you didn't have to do that. It's okay. We were just walking down the street. So yeah, you can see how protective they could get.
Ina is already thinking about graduate school, but says she might pick somewhere a little bit warmer than Boston.
I grew up in a tropical island, so we only basically have one season, which is summer. I remember going here with 2 luggages, and they were all summer clothing, because that's all I owned, like summer clothes, and I had to build up from that with like fall clothes, winter clothes, and that was funny.
What's up next for this ambitious young student who's on track to graduate with a bachelor's degree by age 19? Judging by her intelligence, maturity, and warm personality, the possibilities are endless.
I'm keeping my options open for now, and anything's possible.
For Temple Street, I'm Jennifer Dwyer.
Beltran has been living in her own apartment since freshman year. It sounds like she would be able to graduate in 2 years from now, at the age of 19.
The Latinos Unidos de Massachusetts and Suffolk University's Souls office teamed up this month to present a Noche de Teatro Latinoamericano. The Latin American Theater Night was performed for the Spanish community in Everett on December 1st and the Suffolk community December 7th. Ashley O'Donnell and I got behind the scenes on this Noche de Teatro.
The Night of Theater originated as an assignment by a Spanish theater class here at Suffolk, and it developed into an event involving many students and the community. The plays were produced by Yanni Moreno, a professor of modern languages here at Suffolk, who acted and directed Spanish theater before.
I just wanted to be able to do a production where I would showcase the students, their abilities, and also I wanted to present what's available in contemporary Latin America. So I wanted to present some of the best playwrights, some of the most cutting-edge playwrights, and at the same time I wanted to also present the talent that we have here at Suffolk University.
And talented they are. Members of Moreno's level 400 Spanish class starred in the show. The small class of 6 seniors spent months learning acting techniques, memorizing dialogue, and practicing Spanish. Each of the 3 45-minute-long plays had 20 minutes worth of dialogue to memorize. Some students took a time out from practicing lines to tell us about the rigorous rehearsal schedule this semester.
Speaking and using like rolling R's in Spanish, and the way your mouth and your tongue move, actually after I practice for a long period of time, my tongue and mouth are tired.
I find that learning the lines and really speaking so much, even if they're not, my own words, speaking so much in the language has really helped with the kind of fluidity of the way I speak.
Although Moreno has taught this class at other universities, she said the dedication of Suffolk students took the course to a whole new level.
They wanted to be perfect, and so they made the plays their own and the characters their own, and I was very, very impressed.
The focus of these plays is on theater of the absurd. El Cepillo de Dientes explores the lack of communication between a husband and wife. Casa Matriz focuses on stereotypes of Spanish mothers, and El Generalísimo Bruijo is about an ex-dictator of Puerto Rico. To make the production more professional, Moreno recruited Suffolk University's Techies Union to help the class out with sound, lighting, and set design. She also teamed up with the Souls office to bring the performance to some of the Latino population in the greater Boston area.
The performance on December 1st took place in the city of Everett because of the large Spanish population in the city. However, English subtitles were provided throughout the duration of the show. For Temple Street, this is Ashley O'Donnell.
I saw the play in Everett and it was muy bueno.
And now for a little R&Rs, LOLs, and LMAOs on this week's Critics Corner. Andrew, what do you have for us today?
Jules, Lindsay, you look smashing today.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
After the successful release of the movie The Social Network, all social networks have suddenly become hot. Experts warn, however, Facebook and other SNs, short for social network, are taking over our lives. We constantly check them while doing work and watching TV. We're hypnotized to the point that we fail to look up the cross street, we miss our subway stops, and we show up late to meetings and appointments. However, there is recent evidence that suggests that people around the world might not be distracted after all. First of all, Americans have noticed that Obama's not white. Number 2, geeks are starting to get some girls. And lastly, we all know how much they love Justin Bieber in Brazil.
Hey, Justin! I don't speak English. I don't speak Portuguese. Justin. 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 Yeah, that's better. Trouxe pra ele de presente do Brasil. Chama berimbau. Berimbau? Berimbau. Aê, Justin!
Justin. It's Justin, girl. Get it straight. But in all seriousness, social networking has gotten out of hand. Take Foursquare, for instance. If you don't know what it is, here's a cute video to explain it.
How to unlock your world with Foursquare. Wish you were more aware of all the incredible things around you? With Foursquare, you can unlock your world and find happiness just around the corner. Step 1. Download the Foursquare app to your cell phone and instantly link to your address book, Facebook, and Twitter accounts to discover where your friends are hanging out. Step 2. Tell your friends where you are by checking in at one of the thousands of places Foursquare lists automatically based on your GPS location. Step 5. Check in at a location more than anyone else and become the mayor. You don't get a key to the city, but you might get rewards from certain businesses just for being a loyal customer.
Could someone explain to me who the hell want to be the mayor of Denny's? I mean, is there any food fouler than Denny's? You actually want to be known as the mayor of the crappiest food in the world? You can't even go with anyone because they're just going to want to get in on your mayor badge. I mean, seriously, what perks do you get as mayor? 10% off a friggin' Grand Slam breakfast? I'd rather eat manure. Not to mention that Denny's has horrible decor. I mean, their feng shui is all off. You should spend some time getting laid, loser. Jeez. Another thing I found a little strange is likealittle.com. Like a Little is even more ridiculous than Foursquare. This website was made for creepy guys who can't talk to girls. You basically have this massive wall that an entire university reads, and you write what you're looking at, what being the sex, hair color, and pickup line you want to say to the person you're creepily stalking.
Hey, what's going on? Hey, have you seen this new app? It's the Like a Little app. No. It's really cool.
Look at this. I'm looking at you from across the room. Red hair, black jacket, gray and white scarf. What the hell?
So I can't be within 500 meters of her. That's cool. I guess Like a Little doesn't work for everyone. Whatever happened to toga parties, holding your girlfriend's hair while she pukes, egging your dean's house, and all those good old college traditions? Has it gone completely down the drain? I mean, social networking is becoming less social by the day. What some people call social is following Justin Bieber's every move, or hanging out alone at a Denny's, or being anonymously creepy in front of girls. I mean, come on, guys. Get a girlfriend. Get a friend. Get a hobby. Get a pet. Get a goldfish. I don't know. Get something. Well, that's it for me, Jules and Lindsay.
All right, TTYL, Andrew, right?
Okay, Jules.
Yeah, all right.
Well, that does it for this edition of Temple Street. I'm Lindsay Goldstein.
And I'm Julianne Capello. See you soon.